Hello friends, welcome to the Salem Mason Happy Home YouTube channel. I have surprising news for you. That's why I'm making this extra video today. I have big news. I am very, very, very relieved and excited to report that my new neighbor is not dead. I thought the woman was a goner. See, they moved in over the summer. And it was weird right from day one. They closed on the house on a Friday. I was sitting here at my desk working, minding my own business. And through the broken mini blind, I could see wheels on a large truck pull in. So I decided to go out and introduce myself to the neighbors and be as neighborly as I possibly frickin' can. So I ran outside and I introduced myself and I went over there and there's this lovely old man. I think his name is Rich or Rob or some R word like that, Rover, Rufus, I don't know. Anyway, he was new neighbor's dad and he was rolling up the back of the U-Haul. And in the U-Haul, there was only like 2 pieces of furniture. And this is a family with a kid. There was like a dresser, I think, and a chair. And he introduced himself. He was such a nice man. Oh, he was so nice. And then a portly young man, probably 20s, maybe 30s tops, comes out. And he's very quiet and shy. Oh, actually, he didn't come out right away. He came out behind this other goofball that looked like he had just stepped out of an 80s exercise video. The only thing missing was the headband, because he even had like the earring and the sleeveless, his funky shorts. And he was skinny and he was like, kind of worked out a little bit. And he comes up and he introduces himself and I didn't even remember his name. He's like, and I said, oh, so you're Mr. New Neighbor. He says, no, I'm not Mr. New Neighbor, but you're going to be seeing a lot of me. I'll be hanging around a lot. But Mr. New Neighbor, the portly guy, very quiet, very shy, was standing behind this U-Hoot. This is his house. He just closed in this house. This is his home, his castle. You need to shove that 80s video person aside and come and shake hands with your new neighbor. So he did, and he seemed very nice, very kind, very quiet people. And I said, oh, do you have pets? Do you have a dog? And, oh, no, we have 2 Maine Coon cats. Oh, lovely. Well, I said, if there's anything that you need, anything at all, you just come and you get us. If they make it, Douglas owns it. And if you need help moving anything or whatever, we're here. Just come on, give us a hand. And then I came back to work. And then the next morning, which was a Saturday, and I was out working in my yard because I always did, and Saturdays, that's the only day you got to work in the yard when you work a full-time job. And Mr. New Neighbor was outside with Mrs. New Neighbor and their little toddler baby, about 1-2 years old. And she was out driving one of those child's electric cars. Okay, so she was riding this electric car, and she was riding, she looked really cute and everything, and she was doing her thing. And I ran over to introduce myself to Mrs. New Neighbor. And I don't remember her name, but, she shook my hand and she stood real close to Mr. New Neighbor. And I said, hey, do you guys need any extra lawn furniture? Yeah. Anything you need, we got it. We got it here. We do. We are abundant. I said, welcome to the neighborhood. Anything you need, just let us know. Okay. I said, yeah. And that, my friend, June, July, August, September. Labor Day, because there was fireworks. They moved in right around Labor Day. That was the last time I've seen Mrs. Neighbor. It was always her black sedan next to black pickup truck in the driveway. And very early in the morning, Mr. New Neighbor would go out and start his vehicle. No matter what the weather was, he'd start it and be out there for like a half an hour running. And then he was acting weird. He'd like sit in his vehicle and run it. And then he'd turn it off and go back in the house like 4:35 in the morning. Are you friggin' kidding me? What the hell are you doing in there? And then He would go to work, he would come home in the evenings. And after a while, Mrs. Neighbor's car never moved, but Mrs. New Neighbor's car disappeared. But before it disappeared, I saw her one day in the yard. After introductions, the next Saturday from closing introductions, I saw her probably, three weekends after that, in shorts and a t-shirt, crawling around on the brick terrace on her hands and bare knees, pulling weeds around the fire pit. And when she realized I was out there and I'm standing there looking, I was smiling, I waved, and she was shocked. Her face went, her mouth fell open, and she ducked down behind the fire pit. And that's the last time I saw her. Last freaking time. Then her car was there and not moving, and then it disappeared altogether. And then one evening, I was in the bathroom and I noticed a light in the window that I don't normally see because our house is on the side of their house with the garage. Well, the garage light was on, so I kind of peeked out the window to admire the stars, and I realized that her car was parked in the garage. But it was parked in front of Mr. New Neighbor's truck. There's like 2 bays in the garage. Well, she wasn't in the bay like she could get in and out. Her vehicle was parked in the bay that he parks in front of, so like she could be trapped, like never get out. And they've always got their lights off. And if you've got cats and you've got sliding glass doors, you show me a cat that will never ever sit in a sliding glass door. They never have their curtains or the shades open. And I hadn't seen her. And if it wasn't for the squirrels, I've been waiting for the cops to come by and ask me if I knew anything about the missing neighbor. Because I believed that he had killed her. Or some kind of terrible fate befell her. I didn't really think it was Mr. New Neighbor. I kind of suspected that goofball from the 80s videos, because he was a little off key. Or maybe the cats tripped her and she fell and broke her neck and died and he was afraid to tell anybody. You got to keep up on this neighborly stuff here, living in these small towns, But there was no weird odors. They weren't, moving carpets in the middle of the night or big trunks or anything. But I never saw anything. I never saw him. And then today, I come downstairs to go back to work after lunch. And I happen to look out the window because I keep my curtains open. And I saw the squirrels, the adult gray squirrels, not Shivers, who lives in the back. Although I did see Shivers this morning, and I saw him yesterday morning, and I gave him peanuts, and he seems to be quite thrilled about that. So the adult gray squirrels in the front, and they were digging around at the bottom of the bird bath looking for water. So I went, OMG, and I ran outside in my slippers, snuck out of my job, because I'm actually on the clock working here. And I had to pour some water in there for those babies. I don't want the squirrels and them to eat without water because it just slipped my mind. So when I went out and I'm pouring water in the bird bath, here, walking out from the side of the house, is Mrs. New Neighbor in her PJs, walking to their outbuilding that's across the street because they own the property across the street too. Happens sometimes in small, rural communities, like chunks of property or random buildings in the middle of nowhere. They own the big building across the street from the house. And she smiled and she waved at me and I waved back and I watched to be sure because I'm like, I only seen her the one time. I don't know. I didn't get a close enough look, but she was wearing glass, same hair. And she was in her PJs, and I thought that was really great because I was wearing my slippers out there putting water out for squirrel. And she went to the other house, and she had a key, and she opened the door with the key, and she went in and she got some stuff. I was so relieved. Because honestly, I've been waiting for a knock at the door asking if I'd seen my neighbor recently. But thank goodness she's alive. And apparently looking quite well. Even in her pajamas. So, moral of the story. It's okay to worry about your neighbors and care about their well-being. Just don't let it run away with your imagination. Because, it could fill you with a lot of strife, and we wouldn't want that. But yes, my neighbor is alive, and I'm happy, and I'm grateful, and relieved. And until next time, do good and be good.